What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. Before I get into this video, I want to remind you guys that if you're looking at this video or watching and you're not subscribed, please subscribe to Too Raw for TV. If you haven't done so yet, please hit that bell that you see so you can be notified of videos once they drop. And also, if you like my content or at least appreciate it, please hit the like button. These things not only help my channel, but I'm pretty sure you subscribe to other channels in the LDBC. If you do these things, it'll help our videos show up in YouTube's algorithm because YouTube has certain things in their algorithm to suppress smaller channels even more so than ever now. So that'll make the LDBC that much stronger. Now, let me give a shout out to Kyrie Irving of the Brooklyn Nets, all right? He had a 50-point game yesterday against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Although he did miss what would have been the potential game-winning shot, which would have given him 52 in the win. But still, it was a sensational performance. It was the most points ever scored by a player in his debut appearance with a new team. Kyrie Irving has been kind of under the radar this all season. He's been outshined as far as media coverage, even by his own teammate, Kevin Durant, although most likely we won't see Kevin Durant this year. Maybe there's a slight chance we might see him uh, maybe toward April, I guess, but most likely we won't see him this year. But anyway, he's been outshined by Kevin Durant as far as media coverage. Of course, we had uh, Kawhi watch. I remember when he first came out, man, like Kawhi Leonard. I used to call him Kyrie. Y'all remember that shit? If y'all been subscribed to me for a long time, I just couldn't pronounce his name right for the world. But we had Kawhi watch, of course, Anthony Davis. The media pretty much pressured him and influenced him to leave New Orleans to go to LA. So yeah, he pretty much had been off the radar a little bit. Um, this was a far cry from 2 years ago when he pretty much he did demand to be traded from Cleveland. And of course, that's when he went to Boston in that trade that involved Isaiah Thomas. And poor Isaiah Thomas, man. What a fall. I think that year, 2016-17, Isaiah Thomas set a record for a franchise record for Boston for most three-pointers made in the season. And that's the year he averaged 28.9 points per game. And he was due for a big contract. And, you know, all of a sudden, started having hip issues and injuries. And now Isaiah Thomas is pretty much just trying to salvage his career. I think Boston did him kind of dirty, man. But Kyrie wanted to be the man. It didn't really work out with Boston. Kyrie Irving's first year, both he and that fucking bum, Gordon Hayward, he gets a media pass, by the way. But Gordon Hayward, they missed pretty much the entire 2017-18 season, and Boston goes all the way to Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals with the Cleveland Cavaliers. So the next year, Kyrie Irving, to say that he had a lot on his shoulders was a lot. I was looking at Undisputed a little bit a while ago, and I did not know that today was the 1 year anniversary of the death of his grandfather, who was very close and instrumental to Kyrie Irving, uh, and was an inspiration to Kyrie Irving, and that pretty much cast a shadow last season for Kyrie's darkness, his moodiness, and as Shannon Sharp said, and Skip Bayless said, like basketball became sort of secondary for Kyrie Irving. But this anniversary date was an inspiration for him as far as tonight, and he put on this spectacular performance. He shot 17 of 33 from the floor. Would have been 18 of 33 had he made that last second shot where he slipped, trying to set up his shot. But he was 17 of 33 from the floor, 7 of 14 from 3-point range, and I believe he was 9 of 10 from the foul line. Let me see, 34, 41. I think it was 9 of 10 or 9 of 11 from the foul line, and no turnovers. I think he had 7 assists. So it was a sensational game. Um, when I was picking the scoring champion for this season, I thought it was going to be Steph Curry. It still might be Steph Curry. But looking at James Harden, I don't know whether or not Russell Westbrook being on a team is going to affect him. I think James Harden at this stage of his career has pretty much shown that he's Adrian Dantley 2.0. He's only concerned about his stats to me. Until proven otherwise, James Harden only cares about his stats. So therefore, James Harden might lead the NBA in scoring again. I don't know. It depends on how that works in Houston. But I don't know about this guy, because Kyrie has never been a guy that's a volume scorer. I mean, he's sort of always stuck in that 23, 24, 25 points per game, you know, sort of area. He's never really approached 30 points per game. So he never really came up in my mind like that. But hey, he might lead the league in scoring, but I just can't see Kyrie Irving putting up 35, 40 points every day, every game. I just don't think it's in his nature to be that aggressive offensively. He has moments and nights when he's like that. I think Kyrie gets like that whenever his shot is really going. Um, but we don't know. I don't know what's going to go for him individually this particular season. There's really no pressure on him as there was last year. There's really no expectations for the Brooklyn Nets this year. I disagree with Shannon Sharp when he said that there's going to be some pressure if it looks like Brooklyn's not going to the playoffs, and they went to the playoffs without Kyrie Irving. Of course, they had D'Angelo Russell last year, and the Brooklyn Nets were a formidable seed last year. Can't remember what seed they were. Were they seventh? It might have been the seventh seed. It was the seventh or the sixth seed. Can't quite recall right now. I know Milwaukee was number one. They might have been the seventh seed. I know somebody can fact check me. But they were a formidable lower seed, you know what I'm saying? I know they played Philly in the first round. Um, I mean, I can see a little bit of a narrative where people who are critical of Kyrie will say, look, does he really make his team better? Um, Boston without him went to the Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Last year, they didn't make it out of the second round. Without Kyrie, they made it to the playoffs. This year, they're not even making the playoffs. So is Kyrie, is he overrated? Blah, 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 blah. I can see that. But at the end of the day, this team does not have Kevin Durant. And I still question a little bit because of the history of the Achilles injury. Are we going to see the same Kevin Durant that we saw in Golden State? Immediately, no, we're not going to see that. Even when he comes back from injury, we're not going to see that. But I do wonder um, how much of the old Kevin Durant are we going to see even when he's fully back? But then again, even 90% of that Kevin Durant is still a top two player in the league. So, and also, like, I remember Ticket saying this, and it's true. Kevin Durant's game is not really predicated on athleticism. And if there's one guy that can come back fully from this type of injury, it's Kevin Durant. Dominique Wilkins did it. I remember when Dominique Wilkins got injured, I think it was January of 92, and many people thought that his career was over because Dominique Wilkins had been slipping a little bit athletically for about 2 years anyway, a little bit. I remember he spazzed in that 91 All-Star game, and that's when he had just turned 30 years old. Oh, no, he had just turned 31. So he had been slipping athletically a little bit. So a lot of people thought it was over for him, but then the next year, he was He averaged 30 points per game, but he had to alter his game a little bit. So Kevin Durant will be fine, I think, but this is a freebie. Hopefully, Kyrie Irving has found that piece that he's looking for. All right, this is a situation where it's not as much pressure on him. I know he's going to have a different approach this year as far as his teammates is concerned. You know what I'm saying? They still got a pretty good squad, though, man. On any given night, this Brooklyn Nets team can be formidable. You know what I'm saying? Even without Kevin Durant. Just when Kevin Durant comes back, it's a whole different ball game. I'm gonna tell you something else too. I know 78 Sports TV don't want to hear this shit, but if Giannis were to leave after this season, because right now the two main teams in the East are Philadelphia and Milwaukee. But if Giannis were to leave, and then Kevin Durant comes on board, then all of a sudden, right now, possibly the two best teams would be Philly and Brooklyn. Then come the Brooklyn Nets fanboys, the bandwagon. Anyway, that's pretty much it. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much all I gotta say about that, man. Shout out to Kevin. Why the fuck are you saying Kevin? These two guys need to have different. They need nicknames, man. Because I'm gonna keep switching up their names and shit. Shout out to Kyrie Durant. What the fuck I'm talking about? Shout out to Kevin Irving. But anyway, if you like my content, man, you know what I'm saying? If you can, if you choose to, if you want to show love for Two Raw for TV, you can do so in links provided in the description box below via the PayPal or Cash App. If you want to sign up to my Patreon, I will be uploading on Patreon today. On the Patreon, maybe we'll talk about stuff I can't talk about on YouTube for obvious reasons. So for only $2 per month on the Patreon, shout out to everybody that signed up to the Patreon already. You know what I'm saying? Much love to all of you guys. Peace out.